Deep in the heart of South America, amidst uncharted jungles and mist-covered rivers, lies a legend that has captivated explorers for centuries. A city made entirely of gold. Welcome to the story of El Dorado, the Golden City, a tale of wealth, mystery, and obsession that continues to mesmerize us even today. The legend of El Dorado didn't start with a city of gold but with a man. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors arrived in South America, hearing stories from local tribes about a king who covered himself in gold dust as part of a sacred ritual. According to the tales, this golden king would sail on a raft to the middle of a lake, surrounded by his people, offering treasures to the gods. The word El Dorado, meaning the golden one, was born, and so began a feverish obsession with finding this mysterious place. This wasn't just a simple rumor. It was a spark that ignited a fire of greed and ambition across an entire continent. The Spanish, having already witnessed the immense wealth of the Aztec and Inca empires, were primed to believe anything was possible in this new world. They envisioned not just a man covered in gold, but the source of that gold, a kingdom so rich it paved its streets with it. For the conquistadors, El Dorado was the ultimate prize, the culmination of all their dreams of conquest and fortune. Fueled by these tales of unimaginable wealth, adventurers and treasure hunters risked everything: life, fortune, and sanity in a relentless search for El Dorado. It became an obsession that would cost thousands of lives and shape the history of South America for centuries to come. The first major expeditions launched from every corner of the Spanish Empire, each more ambitious and desperate than the last. One of the earliest, led by Gonzalo Pizarro in the 1540s, was a monumental undertaking. He and his men marched from Quito into the treacherous rainforests of modern-day Ecuador and Colombia, chasing whispers of a cinnamon-rich valley that supposedly led to the Golden City. But the jungle was an unforgiving enemy. Supplies ran out within weeks. They were forced to eat their horses, their dogs, and eventually the leather from their saddles. Many succumbed to disease, starvation, and attacks from indigenous tribes defending their lands. Pizarro's expedition returned in tatters, a grim warning of the perils that lay ahead. Yet, the failure only seemed to fuel the fantasy. Then came Sir Walter Raleigh, the famed English explorer. In the late 1500s, unlike the Spanish, who were driven purely by gold, Raleigh was also a master of propaganda. He spent years in South America, meticulously mapping rivers like the Orinoco and interviewing local people, always chasing rumors of a golden city he called Manoa, located on a massive inland lake. He never found it, but his book, The Discovery of Guyana, became a bestseller across Europe. His vivid descriptions, though heavily embellished, captured the public's imagination and turned El Dorado into a universal symbol of endless wealth and high adventure. Raleigh's writings solidified the legend in the Western mind, ensuring that even after his own failed quests, generations of explorers would continue the search. Despite decades of brutal expeditions and countless lives lost, no one ever found a city made of gold. Yet, paradoxically, the legend only grew stronger with each failure, fueled by insatiable greed and a powerful, enduring imagination. So, if no golden city was ever found, was El Dorado completely a myth? The truth, as scholars now believe, is both more subtle and more fascinating. The legend almost certainly arose from a very real ceremony practiced by the Muisca people of modern-day Colombia. Their new king, or Zepa, would undergo an investiture ritual at the sacred Lake Guatavita. Before his inauguration, the king would be covered in sticky resin and then dusted with fine gold powder, transforming him into the Golden One. He would then sail to the center of the lake on a raft, accompanied by his priests, and offer precious gold artifacts and emeralds to the gods by casting them into the water. For the Muisca, gold wasn't a currency. It was a sacred material, a conduit to the divine. When the Spanish heard these stories, their imaginations ran wild. They misinterpreted the ritual, transforming the story of a gilded king into a fantasy of an entire city filled with golden streets and palaces. The reality was a kingdom rich in culture and ritual, whose treasures were ceremonial and spiritual, not hoarded in vaults. The real treasures were the gold offerings hidden at the bottom of sacred lakes. Over the years, attempts have been made to drain Lake Guatavita. In the 1580s, one merchant partially drained it and found hundreds of gold pieces. Modern archaeology, using more respectful methods, has uncovered countless artifacts from the lake bed and surrounding areas, confirming the Muska's rich gold-working traditions. Divers have retrieved stunning gold figures, jewelry, and ceremonial items, all physical proof of the rituals that birthed the legend. So, while a city of pure gold remains a legend, the story of El Dorado was rooted in the very real and magnificent treasures of a forgotten kingdom. Even today, in the 21st century, the allure of El Dorado continues to echo through the ages. The search has never truly ended. Modern-day treasure hunters, armed with historical maps and journals, still venture into remote jungles and lost lakes, hoping to be the one to finally solve the mystery. But the tools have changed. Today's explorers use satellite imagery to identify ancient settlements, ground-penetrating radar to search for buried structures, and drones to map previously inaccessible terrain. While these technologies have expanded the search, the Golden City itself remains as elusive as ever, a ghost that haunts the South American landscape. Beyond the physical search, the cultural impact of El Dorado is immeasurable. The legend has inspired countless books, films, television shows, and even video games. From Werner Herzog's haunting film Aguirre, The Wrath of God, to the adventures of Indiana Jones and the video game series Uncharted, the story of a lost city of gold has become a cornerstone of adventure fiction. Its symbolism, relentless pursuit of wealth, the clash between ambition and reality, and the thrill of the unknown transcends centuries. El Dorado reminds us how powerful stories can be, shaping not just our entertainment, but our history, our explorations, and our collective imagination. Ultimately, El Dorado is so much more than a simple story about gold. It is a profound tale about the depths of human desire, the corrupting dangers of greed, and the incredible courage it takes to venture into the unknown. The conquistadors and explorers who risked everything were driven not just by the promise of wealth, but by the powerful, intoxicating dream of discovery itself. They wanted to be the first, to see what no one else had seen, to write their names into history. But there's a deeper lesson here, one that often gets lost in the glitter of gold. The legend of El Dorado teaches us to respect the indigenous cultures that were so tragically misunderstood and exploited. The real treasures of the Amazon were never golden cities, but the rich knowledge, complex rituals, and vibrant histories of the people who lived in these lands for millennia before Europeans arrived. Their stories, their connection to the land, and their spiritual traditions were the true wealth, a wealth that was tragically overlooked and often destroyed in the frantic search for metal. So, will the Golden City of El Dorado ever be found? Perhaps not. It may have only ever existed in the stories of the Muska and the fevered dreams of the conquistadors, but the legend itself lives on, a timeless call to dreamers, adventurers, and storytellers everywhere. A city of pure gold may not be real, but the pursuit of wonder, the search itself, is a treasure in its own right. The journey, not the destination, is where the real value lies. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories from the crossroads of history and legend.